Welcome back to The Side of Kale. I'm Kaylee, if you're new here, and I'm a business consultant and the founder of Corporate Consulting Services. And every month I'm documenting the real, honest journey of pretty much bringing Casey up from the ground up. And this isn't a highlight reel. This isn't pretending things are further along than they actually are. This is just actual numbers, actual lessons, and the actual plan that I'm using going forward in case someone out there who's watching this goes, I really want to start a business, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So welcome, let's jump into it. Quick context if you're new here. Months 1 and 2 are linked below, and honestly, they're worth watching in order. Month 1, I quit my job. I built the foundation of this company. I spent nothing, and I had 0 clients. I did have 1 clarity call booked by the end of the month, so that felt like a real success and a good hint to keep moving forward. In month 2, I sent 100 outreach messages to my network. I also attended a networking event and had 2 clarity calls. Both went well, but neither closed. I call them pipelines though, not losses, and said I'd follow up in month 3. In month 3, I had 2 more calls. One from the networking event. It happened, it was a really good conversation, but it didn't close. And 1 follow-up with someone from last month's pipeline, that one signed. That's the arc. Now let's get into what that actually means. At the end of month 2, I said, month 3 is the month where I either sign my first client or I explain on camera why it didn't happen. So I signed my first client. 3 months, 0 revenue, $426 in total expenses, 100 outreach messages, 4 clarity calls across the whole journey, and 1 person who wasn't ready in month 2, but came back in month 3 and said yes. This is what it actually looked like. And it felt surreal and like a huge relief, but also the pressure's on now. I have to deliver what I've been promising for the past 3 months. I'm confident in myself, but there's always that little bit of pressure when you're starting something new and it's the first time. So let's get into what month 3 as a consultant looked like. Into the numbers real quick. 0 revenue, 0 expenses. And I know what I said. I signed a client with 0 revenue. Same video, let me explain. So the client is signed, but the work starts in the month of July, so month 4th. The invoice goes out after the work starts. So month 3, when I close the deal, I'm still not actually making any revenue. Month 4 is when the revenue actually hits my bank account. And this is something that a lot of people don't talk about really in a business context. There's a gap between when you sign something and when you pay for something. It's the same way when you're the one who's going to suppliers. You can have the paperwork signed, but until you pay them, they're not receiving the revenue. Anyways, the deal is done. The work hasn't started, the money isn't in the account yet, and I'm sitting here with a contract, but still technically $0 in revenue. But it is still worth the celebration. And that feeling that, oh my God, we actually did it. And what's important here is I know my runway. I know my burn rate, and I've been watching it every month. Month 4 is the month that the number finally changes. And for the first time since I started this, I actually know that it will, and it will be something positive for me. 2 calls this month. Let me walk through both of them honestly. The first was the call that I booked from my first networking event last month. The one that I said that I really wanted to close. We had the conversation, it went well, but it didn't close. I want to be straight about that because I hyped it up last month. Sometimes a good call is just that. A good call. The timing still wasn't there. The fit wasn't right, but something wasn't ready on their end. And I'd be a hypocrite to say that I didn't appreciate that they knew that the fit and the timing weren't right for where they are at their business. So that one goes back in the pipeline. I'm not writing it off yet, and I still am hopeful for next month. The second call is the call that changed this month. This was a follow-up with someone I had spoken to in month 2. In that first call, they were really interested in what I had to offer, but not ready just yet. So I didn't push. I just stayed in touch, kept the relationship warm, and gave them space to kind of figure out what they needed and to see if I could bring something to them that once they figured out they needed me, I was there for them. So this month they came back and we had a second conversation, and by the end of it, the dotted line was signed, and that felt unbelievable and surreal. Like, I did it. And it might not seem like a lot, but that first client, I feel like, is opening this door that I'm not completely crazy in this adventure and that I can actually do this. And I don't want to let them down. And I think that's the most important thing, is keeping that pressure on myself to deliver what I think is high quality work every single time to every single client, but especially to this first one. Let's start off with the obvious wins. My first client to sign. The more interesting win, though, is what it proved. The pipeline strategy from month 2 worked. I called those calls not ready yet instead of lost, and I stayed warm instead of pushing, and one of them came back and signed on their own timeline. That's not luck. That's using the right approach. Now, in terms of losses, there's not really that many this month, if I'm being honest. I am very proud of myself. I guess the one thing that I could say is I had initially thought that I could make this whole social media thing like work into my favor and like really get more clients from me. And what I'm realizing is that some people just aren't really good at social media and getting that in, or I'm not using the right hooks, I'm not using the right thing. But to me, social media is really just there for fun. I'm doing it entirely to kind of document this for myself and to see how much I grow. So did I get anything from social media? No. Am I learning from it and learning that maybe I should put a bit less time towards social media? Yes, and that's something that I'm gonna bring forward in month 4 by adjusting my posting schedule and adjusting how many times I post to, say, Instagram or TikTok or even YouTube. So it's not really a loss, but once again, it is a learning opportunity, and we're just in month 4, or I'm filming this in month 4, and I'm still learning, and I think that is going to be converted into a win at some point, because I've realized that maybe it's just not for me at that point. The other thing that I'm watching is that now I have one client, I don't want to give up on my pipeline. So I still need to work hard to network with people, to make KCS known to other people besides just this one client. Because yes, it is wonderful to have someone to know that I have a contract signed, but I can't just go and put my head down and work entirely for them, because that makes me so chained to them in a way, and that is a very scary feeling when you go from knowing that you're making 0 revenue because you're starting off your business to making revenue. And I have to think towards the future and go, if this client just finds out that they don't need me anymore and I'm dropped, I'm now back down to 0 revenue if I don't keep my pipeline up. So that's something that I want to put out there to anyone and everyone. Yes, it was a celebration. Yes, it felt surreal. Yes, I'm so proud of myself for getting that first client, but I still need to keep working. And month 4 is going to be a combination of working for my first client, but also working to get more clients. So 3 months, 4 calls, 1 signed client, and the work starts in July. If you've been here since month 1, thank you. This is truly what I've been building towards, and I'm so glad that we could all go on this adventure together. If you're new here, welcome back, and maybe go back and watch from the start. The 0 months are a real part of the story, and I feel like it needs to be talked about and needs to be seen that not everyone starts off and immediately goes up to 20 clients and $10,000 in a month of revenue. Some people start from 0 and still document it because it's for them. And that is what I want to be. I want to be one of those people who shows the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this month, it was a good. If you're interested, the numbers are in the comments as always. Subscribe for month 4, and that's the first video where I'll tell you what the revenue was. So see you then. Bye. you.